degree in mechanical engineering, Roy Tuscany moved out west to pursue his dream of being a professional free skier. However, in 2006, Roy suffered a life-altering injury that left him paralyzed from the waist down. This was the catalyst for the creation of his nonprofit foundation, High Fives. Roy has since received the Spirit Inspires Award from Disabled Sports USA in 2011, and at one point has held the world record for the most high fives in a 24-hour period. He now lives in Reno, Nevada with his wife and son, Gunnar, and enjoys finding fun in everything he does.
So can you tell us how you were introduced to skiing and what the passion is for you with skiing?
In third grade, my mom said that I had to pick a winter sport and I could choose between hockey or skiing. And in third grade, I was like 42 pounds, very small. And I just was afraid of getting checked into the boards. So I picked skiing. There was an after school program. And from the first time I slid on snow, I just thought it was the coolest sensation. It was just always gliding. And it was just a really fun way for me to travel. I think I really enjoyed the way that you could move down the mountain using gravity and skis.
That's awesome. I ski. I don't ski as much anymore. I'm actually very fearful of skiing. So what has your experience been like as a competitive skier?
Before my accident, I loved to compete. It was always something that was thrilling and at the same time, rewarding as, positively doing well in a competition. But, as I started to phase out of that, I realized that there was a better chance of doing things, working with brands and coaching and just finding other ways to stay within skiing so that skiing could be a part of my life that also helped make, you gotta make money somehow. So that was like the direction. And, unfortunately one day just, an accident happened that like really changed the course of my life.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So it's my understanding that you have partial paralysis from, you said, your belly button down. Are you wheelchair bound or do you use a wheelchair?
So I have about 90% use, 90 to 95% use of my left leg. And then my right leg, I've got basically a quad muscle.
Okay.
So the most of my right leg is pretty, non-stable, pretty hard for weight bearing. So I use a cane for long distances.
Mm-hmm.
And then for skiing, I use a magnitude of bracing and also these 4 tracking poles. So these poles that have skis on the end of them.
Okay. So what was your recovery process like once you sustained your injury, and how important was the support that you received? And then where are you today in your life?
My recovery was luckily, helped and encouraged by a really great group of people. So parents and the kids of the program that I coached at Sugar Bowl, which is here in California, and then the community I'm from back in Vermont, the Mad River Valley and Waterbury. And they came together and they put on fundraising events and they gave gifts through a nonprofit arm that was set up of the Sugar Bowl Academy where I worked. And that helped ensure that for 2 years I could focus on recovery. And, I tried my best to keep people updated, but it really came down to that, purpose of paying it forward to help others that, we could provide what I was given from a great group of community to maybe others that don't have community, maybe people that fall into the same shoes that I did that didn't have that same support. And so that's what we did as an organization. And in the last 11 years, we've grown to, support nearly 400 individuals and veterans with life-changing injuries, given out grants and hosted camps and have a safety education platform and have a facility here that's no cost. And there's a lot of cool opportunity that we've been able to provide back to a community. At the time when I got hurt was probably not as navigatable. I think I just made up that word. But it didn't have a collection of people that could help or, be a part of our community. And I think that's a really cool thing that we've been able to establish and create within the community of people that we've been able to support.
I think it's wonderful. So on your website, it says an adaptive sports foundation, or your High Fives Foundation. It says an adaptive sports foundation with heart. Can you elaborate on what the foundation, like, kind of, like, I guess more specific, because we just kind of talked about it interchangeably, but what's like your biggest mission?
I think my biggest mission is to provide that opportunity to get back to the sports we love. I think one thing people don't realize is that when you get hurt, the one thing that doesn't always like come about, or there is no metric, is like, what happens to those friends that used to participate in sports with, or where does that continue? And, sometimes that gets lost. So if we can give that opportunity to get people back out into sport, I think that really opens up a lot of other things that are underlying issues that sometimes arise from not feeling included. And if we can provide that inclusive opportunity, it's a really cool way to help using sport as a byproduct of creation for community again for someone. So I think that's a really like idea behind some of the really impressive things that we've been able to do.
Absolutely, for sure. And what have been some of the challenges that you've faced over the years?
Challenges, when we first started, I think a challenge was it was like a small niche community. Mm-hmm. So how do you grow? Sure. And it just takes time. I think one of the other things that we saw was people thought that, okay, well, you're supporting people that are getting hurt. Are you supporting, daredevil-like activities? And that's really what came about, that basics, be aware, safe in critical situations, educational platform or pillar program service for High Fives that we're able to promote and give out free every year annually at no cost to, schools, education centers, and everything in between. So, I mean, those are some of the ways and things that we've struggled. But I think one of the things is that we've done is that we've always tried to learn and try to find solutions to, the things that seem not backwards, but that seem like, problems that say, hey, okay, thank you for recognize, here's how we're saying that we want to find a solution to it. And we can't always find a solution, but those have been some of the ones that I would say that have been struggles to then turn into, okay, here's how we learned and here's how we adapted and overcame.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, and with every organization, there's always going to be challenges and struggles. And, adaptive sports is a very unique kind of niche. So can you share a little bit of a background on your basics and then your military to the mountain programs?
Sure. So military to the mountains, I'll talk about first because we just concluded one and about to do another. And what's going on is we host disabled veterans through 9 weeks of personal training. And then at the end of 9 weeks, they come skiing and snowboarding. And for the first time ever, we're doing a second group this year and bringing them to Granby Ranch, Colorado. We just concluded working with 18 veterans here in Squaw Valley, where they came from Reno, Nevada, and then they came from Dallas, Texas. And the individuals went through 9 weeks of personal training where they focused on either skiing or snowboarding or whatever discipline they were to do on the snow. And then they come here and it's a week of fully everything. From the time you check in to the time you check out, everything is taken care of for the veterans. And it's really about growing, not only as individuals, but also that tribal, that unit, that platoon, which they're all so already rooted in from their training and military service, that when they come to squat, it's this growth. And it's a really cool program that encompasses 10 weeks of support, of 10 weeks of dedication, and 10 weeks of transformation. So really cool thing. So that's our Military to Mountains program. And our basics program is that answer to that, you know, kind of what was one of those struggles when the foundation started questions is, you know, people thought, okay, if you're helping people after they get hurt, are you promoting people to be more daredevils? And basics is an acronym for be aware, safe in critical situations. And the conceptual idea behind the program is to provide educational material to young minds to help them understand the adherent dangers that exist in the winter sports. And every year for 11 years, we've been producing video-based documentaries that are then shared. We used to do live presentations. We've now transformed into a virtual presentation slideshow with video interaction. And so it's a transforming of the message, but it's still that same idea of how can we help young individuals understand the potential dangers that exist in the winter sports.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it's definitely very, very important, especially when you're getting into a sport like skiing. What would be something that you would say to somebody, words of advice or wisdom, who has sustained a serious injury?
The thing that I've told so many people so many times is like, it'll never be the same, but it can still be awesome. And
Right.
that is like to understand that like your life is like, first off, congratulations, you're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You just had a life-changing injury. Like the word life-changing is not like broken bone.
Mm-hmm.
It's much different. So congratulations, you're alive. Okay, from here, there are going to be some deficits. There's going to be changes. There's going to be some sort of transformation that's going to happen. But what you need to always understand is it's never going to be the same prior to the injury. And I think that's a really big thing for people to be able to let go so that they can start to move forward. And it really comes down to this idea of like a wall. Like, here's your injury. Do you look at your injury where you're constantly looking at it and looking this way? Or do you look at it from this side and you're looking at it, you're going that way? And this way saying, I see my future. This way is like always wishing you can hit rewind.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work, unfortunately. So when you can get over the wall, I think this really allows people to propel in their recovery as well.
Obviously with your foundation, but again, just over the years with with people who have a variety of different conditions, what have you seen to be the biggest breakthrough technologically for adaptive equipment?
I think what's happening now is things that are starting to be universally designed, and they're not there yet, but they're like, it's like they're right on the edge of Niagara Falls. Like Nike releasing that Fly Easy shoe that actually, not the first iteration, the soonest one, the break, slide
Right.
in, pop up. That's pretty universally designed. I think these e-bikes are really a game changer. And I think more and more people need to be educated on the user database, the users that are using these. But again, those are becoming universal because you can, with a lower extremity, be able to still do it if you don't have quite the power to generate, but you have the motion. So I think the more and more things that companies are doing to create universal design, I think is really exciting to see. The other thing is I really believe Toyota as a brand getting so behind and supporting at the same level. There is no tier. The Olympic and the Paralympic athletes that are supported by Toyota are here. There's no tier. And a lot of companies usually are like this. And Toyota says, no. We're a company that's looking for solutions within mobility. And that starts with learning from the individuals who are, pushing the limits of what their body can do. And so as a brand, I think what they're doing hopefully hopefully starts reciprocating with other companies to say, hey, everybody's got a brain and a heart. Okay, we're even. Let's even every stuff out there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, this was wonderful. Those were my questions.
It was so much fun chatting with you.
Thank you.